Hi, welcome to the Crypto Republic. Before we dive in, if you're serious about staying ahead in this once-in-a-lifetime financial shift, make sure you like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Republic. Imagine waking up in a world where the US dollar is no longer king, where trade between nations no longer revolves around Washington's policies or Wall Street's liquidity. Instead, a neutral digital bridge asset, not tied to any single government, becomes the lifeline of global finance. That's not science fiction. It's a real conversation happening today at the highest levels of finance and geopolitics. And at the center of that discussion, XRP. Today, we're going to break down whether XRP could realistically become the world's reserve currency, replacing the dollar's decades-long dominance. For nearly a century, the US dollar has held the role of global reserve currency. That meant nations stored it, traded with it, and measured their wealth against it. But history teaches us no empire and no currency lasts forever. Think back. Before the dollar, the British pound sterling ruled the world. London was the financial capital of the globe, until two world wars drained the UK's strength and paved the way for the dollar at the Bretton Woods in 1944. Today, many economists argue we are witnessing the same kind of shift: rising debt, weaponization of the dollar through sanctions, and emerging digital finance systems are forcing nations to rethink the global reserve system. So why might the world move away from the dollar? Debt explosion. U.S. national debt has surpassed $34 trillion. For countries holding dollars, that's a red flag. Sanctions power. The U.S. has used the dollar as a tool of foreign policy, cutting nations out of the SWIFT system. Other countries could see this and think, could we be next? De-dollarization trends. Nations like Russia, China, and even BRICS alliances are openly calling for alternatives to dollar dominance. But here's the problem. No one wants their rival currency to take the throne. China doesn't want a Russian ruble system, Europe doesn't want to bow to China's yuan, and no one outside America wants to continue relying on the dollar. This is the classic old boss, new boss problem. So what's the solution? Enter the idea of a neutral settlement asset. History has some examples. Gold once served as a neutral reserve. Nobody's government controlled it. After the dollar left the gold standard in 1971, we shifted into pure fiat dominance. Now digital assets create a new option, a currency without borders, without political ties, something programmable, instant, and scalable. And this is exactly where XRP fits in. Let's look at the facts. Neutrality. XRP isn't issued by a central bank. No single country can weaponize it. Utility. Unlike Bitcoin, which was designed as peer-to-peer money, XRP was engineered specifically for cross-border settlement and liquidity. Speed and cost. 3 to 5 second settlement, fractions of a penny per transaction. Scalability, already handling institutional testing. Proven in pilot programs with central banks, banks, and payment providers. Think of XRP as the oil that greases the wheels of the new financial system. Just as railroads in the 19th century connected distant cities, XRP connects distant currencies in milliseconds. Of course, XRP isn't alone. The conversation often includes Bitcoin, a strong brand, but too slow, too volatile, and too energy intensive. Stablecoins, useful but tied to one nation's fiat, not neutral. CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, powerful tools, but again, controlled by governments. In this landscape, XRP is unique because it blends neutrality with real institution adoption. But let's not ignore the challenges, okay? Regulation. XRP has faced legal battles, most famously with the SEC in the U.S. While Ripple scored partial victories, clarity is still developing. Adoption pace. Global financial systems don't change overnight. Transition from pound to dollar took decades. This would be similar. Geopolitical pushback. Some governments may resist giving too much power to a non-sovereign asset. That said, cracks are already forming. The IMF has openly discussed neutral settlement assets. Central banks are testing interoperability solutions. Ripple itself has partnered with world banks. Here's the big question. Could XRP truly become the next global reserve currency? If nations continue to de-dollarize but resist each other's currencies, the path of least resistance might be a neutral bridge, and XRP is the most battle-tested candidate on the table. It wouldn't happen overnight, but as with past shifts, pound to dollar, gold to fiat, change often seems impossible until suddenly it's history. So will XRP become the world's reserve currency? The answer is this. It has the ingredients, the utility, and the neutrality to claim that role. Whether it happens depends on adoption, regulation, and global consensus. But one thing is clear, we're living through a monetary shift as significant as Bretton Woods, and XRP is positioned at the heart of it. So the question for you is, when history is written, will you be the one who saw the shift coming or the one who realized it too late? this opened your eyes, smash that like button, ring the bell, leave a comment with your thoughts, turn on notifications, and most importantly, subscribe to the Crypto Republic, bringing you the truth about XRP, global banking moves, and the wealth transfer already unfolding. Don't just watch history happen. Stay informed, stay ahead, stay in the Republic.